Hello, welcome. I need a shave. Some people know I'm online. Other people, it's like that photo from my seat pic. Look like a sweetheart. I look like I'm sad. That's when the queen was around. I needed sympathy from the woman. She never gave it to me once. She always knew one thing about me. I didn't need it. And she probably would have been not odd by that picture. She probably would have said, "That little shit. He's got them all going one way and he's going the other." Because they're all going the white man in this province, except for one or two that I know of. One is 80 plus and the other is 80 plus. One's in Surrey, one's in downtown Kamloops. And he works at an office building up a few floors, and he saved my mother from cancer. Or he referred her to another man, and she was saved from cancer. And I was there for her, and Crystal Ann didn't even show up. Me and Garrett Getz were there. I wanted Garrett to be there because he looked kind of like Brett. Well, he's a Vancouver grown gangster. Well, he wasn't always a gangster. He was a hockey player. Brett, he couldn't even bloody read or write very well. But that's the truth. And he didn't need to. It's fun. Let's see. Internet. One sec. Chrissy Lynn. She's my second cousin. I haven't slept with her yet. So tell Chrissy that sticking with your relatives is not good. I mean, her and Preston, they were like this, I hear, until they were, teenagers. She's still hanging out with Mike Grimm. That's embarrassing for her. That's her dad. He's her stepfather. Dad still has family. If he won't let him watch. If he's a tyrant, and he's a Canadian tyrant, and his counterpart in Hawaii is a tyrant in his own right. It's Americans spawn one because he came from Oklahoma City, or Oklahoma State. Two different things. He's probably wanted from 6 different kinds of sit downs now, but he's undergoing a big beat investigation, maybe not. And he's scared by this. And he cleared out his daughters, but he's still hanging out with him, telling him everything about organized crime. So he just thought he was grandfathered in. He's got women there with him, and he talks organized crime with them. That's his way of doing business. If someone telling him that the women that he had, lined up to sleep with, he flies them out there and sleeps with them, anyone he likes. That's a big deal. Is that how he does it? I ain't flying out there ever. Me and him don't get along. I don't like him. When I don't like somebody, I get vindictive and I get it back. And he did a lot of things to me that I ain't gonna forget. Like, I don't know. Maybe what did he do first? Well, first time I made a move against him, against the Pat, not all on the same page. There's different chapters for a reason. And they're Columbia because they're saturated in British Columbia. Doesn't mean they're government. Just because there's more of them in colors than there are people with government officials. There's more government employees, I guarantee that. And the government's made up by the employees, not by the better. But nothing's going to change overnight. Things are being addressed slowly, and certain things are secret. And the one in Hawaii is a man without a flag. He's at the time. His counterpart's at the time too. Maybe he's not. Maybe he didn't want to have me killed. Maybe he did. Maybe there's a man that actually didn't want to kill him. And he was just showing that he's around. And me and him are kind of natural enemies because I'm not a racist. But at the same time, well, I waved at people a certain way. Showed respect for a man that I knew as a kid through documentaries. And my grandpa Harold, he had all the best documentaries. Where they all went, I don't know. But if Uncle Rick's sticking up for president, why is Scott McIntyre not here? Nobody cares about Scott. I care. I cared a lot. I tried to have him in my life, and Matt Bonner and him wouldn't allow it. Matt Bonner, you're wanted. Your day in court is soon because I can't want you dead. It wouldn't be fair to me to raise a human being. You took somebody that's dear to me. I didn't even know him. Somebody under the bridge in Vancouver or New Westminster, place where somebody gave me a break once, and somebody respected me for that. Then 2 people did. They were both drinking. I was barely drunk, and I was there a couple times. I was a young man, and the man in the suit. He was a good man, but I barely stuck up for me then. He didn't have to. I could have stuck up for myself. She wasn't mine. I didn't own her, and I've never had a red cent of prostitution money through my hands. So why don't I just become a man that can manage women and do it legally, and not have any sex involved? Because I could open a legal bordello and do a good job as a manager. Because that I never had. I haven't even tried because Tracy wouldn't let him. Or is that how it goes? Because they're all patch lickers, or they know not to mess with the patch. And they know one thing. If you've gone to Vancouver, they're not the only organized crime. Even though everybody does this, that's for in the Bible. Ralph Parker is smart. It's a roaring lion, and I'm not the roaring lion. I'm not the devil. But that's what it means. Look, the devil could be trying to outfox you, could be trying to seduce you into evil. And Ralph Parker is not the most powerful man that I ain't either. And that's my explanation to what wasn't Joseph Stalin. Could have been Woodrow Wilson, or maybe Mr. Hoover. He's president before George Roosevelt, not George Roosevelt, Theodore Roosevelt, I think. I can't remember, but it's my Illuminati poet. And that's my home of the dead son. And they speak in Slytherin. And Harry Potter, this guy was on the header. Did somebody know something about J.K. Rowling? I didn't know anything. I read Harry Potter when I was young. I read The Hobbit, the first book I ever picked up. And Chris Land didn't help me read it at all. I read it myself. Chrissy Hayden, not my sister. It doesn't mean I want her dead, no. She's not my sister. There's only one Cody here. Wouldn't it be nice if he had his way? If he had his way and he's not ruler of the province, he's not. He's not even fucking close. I accidentally ran into him, and he didn't know that I knew what he looked like. Well, obviously it was Sean's dad. I thought it was stepdad, and you're not a helicopter pilot either. So you were either a government worker or you're a ruthless fucking killer. You know something about Gerald Granger is that he's not a nomad. He's just concerned about his family, and he's concerned about what happened to Owen. And I figured him out. And I'm a little bit tribal when it comes to local drug sales, and they can't tell me no. They can't. And Bacon Senior's maybe fighting a three-front war. He's got the Viet Cong on one side, he's got the Cambodians on the other side, and he's got the USMC on the other side. And he's just a long ways away from Vietnam. And I don't know what happened in Vietnam. I wasn't there. I have theories, but they're theoretical, strategical in the sense that it throws him off his game and focus. I know of a Ford Focus, and I know of one thing. Monte Carlo is too expensive to run on fuel. So why am I still driving it? For nostalgia or for one reason? That tooth is chipped because of a man's tractor. Whose tractor was it first? Did he teach anybody a lesson? What did his son end up being? What did his son end up being? Well, I don't know. I haven't asked him. Me and him ran into each other once at well, he knows where. Nothing's changed for me. I just gotta, I have a, and you don't know who dad is. You know who dad is, but he never told me what he did for work. So I guess he's on a big vessel and he's a Coast Guard. That's what I was told. Well, you guys didn't know one thing. Me and Recon Ron, we're tight. We haven't talked business. We never will. Because it's not in our best interest. And he said something to me. He didn't say anything to me. I was wondering how Frank Keen's doing. And I don't talk like Ralph used to because Ralph didn't possess me. I'm not possessed. And the guy from Hawaii is not a man with clay. He's possessed by the death head. Or he doesn't wear the death head anymore. He has worn it since the 60s or 70s when he was in this country. And he might have investment with people. Maybe he does. Maybe he just has his guys that do his money, wealth management. And wealth management for when he's dead, isn't it? No. He's wealthy. So he is wealthy. He's over $100 million. In my view, rich is $1 million liquid and $1 million in assets. And that's rich to me. And then there's wealthy, which is over $100 million liquid. And then that's wealthy. Nowadays, money is balloon. Poof. And I'm a guy that can't be killed. So when I tell Iffy that, when he says, he keeps saying that there's 10 million on my head, there isn't 10 million on my head. When he wants to be tough, then he wants to be tough because we spoke as a family. Not really, but I had an imaginary situation where internet connects doesn't work, and there was me and Sean there, and he was there with his wife, your wife, and he doesn't keep a side piece down the way. He doesn't. He wouldn't do that. He's going east on a road to check and see if someone's all right, and he does exactly what somebody from Hawaii says, but he doesn't speak. He doesn't stand on his own 2 feet. So I'm the only Canadian in the OC, not Orange County, that does something called stand on his own 2 feet. I've been standing on my 2 feet for so long, I got great chin hairs coming. Because if he wants to be one person one day and wants to be another person another day, he can't get over his fear of death. Although he's a ruthless fucking killer. So he's not the ruler of BC. And their little propaganda. Well, just because he's my dad doesn't mean he wants me dead. It doesn't mean I'm putting on the nomad patch. Not a fucking chance. He doesn't realize that Tony, Andy, and Al they've changed, Lee. They're possessed by the fucking death head too, because they lost their little fix. Their little fix was ripping me off secretly. And their con is made public. And they're just cons. That's all they are. And I was a mark. Guess what? I did the long con. You three are con. And you three are the marks. And I got the YouTube feed. And you three don't. And they're yellow and they're ancient. And I didn't sharpen those. They're saber-tooth tiger teeth. I should sharpen them. File them up and I'll be Dracula. And I know somebody called Ryan Ordog. And he's my buddy. And we're buddies. He's like a brother from another mother. That's my saying. But we're not actually family, but we're close. He named his son Ryder out of respect. And Ryder knows who I am. And I'm called Big C. And I'm a good man. And I am a good man. He's probably at school. It's his weekday. And he wouldn't know this is on. The little men have phones. And Ronnie Jr., he knows one thing. He knows who Big C is. And I met him. And his dad is running his own business, and those bikers against bullies, they're not actually what they say. Some of them are actually dual patch, and some of them want to act tough and do this and that. But Recon Ron isn't Rombo, and Rombo just doesn't want to pay me back. He thinks he doesn't have to because I don't collect the same way. But I'm shaming him as I do. So I can shame people in public now. Because Tony Adirola says that nobody has to pay me back, and he thinks he owns me. Go wave a little paper in front of the judge downtown saying that you own me. And he doesn't have a fucking thing to do about my criminal career because I don't act like this in front of him. I did twice. And he tried framing me out twice. Didn't want to, but he did. He knows one thing now, not to do that. Because I am something. And there's the shit handshake. I keep you out of jail. Me alone. And he's my dad. And usually, organized crime, it's the dad that gets his son killed. Well, I don't want my dad dead. He doesn't want to kill me. So we'll make our stand there. And I knew somebody from elementary school, and we never kissed in the bathroom. That was a bad rumor to make, because that's a lie. That's the only time I'll ever give you shit. And she did ask me to go out for just as friends once, and I said I respectfully declined. And her name was Lisa, and she doesn't speak to me for. She hasn't said anything since, and I bugged her on Facebook for like 6 months, and I just bugged her. That was being weird. And she just held her ground. Well, she must be stubborn like someone else in the family, and her family, not my family, because I probably know more about, organized crime than her, but I'm a historian, and historically, none of the Kamloops chapter fuck with her grandpa. Historically, they do it secretly and behind, and the one in Hawaii knows I got him figured out, and he knows where the laid to where I've laid my eggs to roost. I haven't laid any eggs to roost. I'm not dad to any except, and nobody knows, and and that's the bottom line. So maybe some know and some don't. Maybe some respect me for fans. That's not true, and some are young and they don't need to listen to anybody except their own. And some know and some don't. So hey, it's all good for the better. Just make sure the young ladies know one thing: your dad. Okay, Uncle Cody's Uncle Cody. And hey, I seen the movie Gangs in New York, and we didn't watch it there in the movie theater. Brett hated me. He left 15 minutes later. He thought it was gangsters like him and his buddies shooting at people. Well, he wanted to go to the movie theater and see it. He was not. Uh, he was not. I don't think he was abused as a kid, but he fought like tooth and nail to make sure his sister wasn't. She ended up poisoning him, and that's the reason why he committed suicide. And she thinks she's sick in the head because well, I made it through. Nothing happened. You can shoot me up with anything you want, Bacon Senior. And well, and he's got a 3-front war coming. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. And it's not good to fight a 3-front war. You see, when you're one man, I have what we call war on you. And I'm a neutral party to all of it. And it's a great song. And if the KNNC ever existed, it's fictitious. This would be my theme song. But the chief would still be either commander in chief, which it would be, because he was sent to the commander in chief. Must have been. And some men knew Ralph Barker as the chief, but he wasn't the commander. There's a difference. And chief could be up a fire hall, and there's a police chief, and there's a fire hall, and fire chief. I think is what they call them. I don't know. And there's paramedics, and there's a head paramedic and cameras. And I understand. And I'm fine. And I'm on my medication every night, and I take it every night. And that's because some are privileged to talk to patient. Uh, you know, it's a sacred. It's an important thing, and the Kamloops chapter doesn't follow that because they extort doctors, and they shouldn't extort any doctors. The Kamloops chapter is in so much shit. Put that on the list, because I know it's fair when I get knocked out for a surgery and I got just a regular implant, and I always was wondering if they did something strange to me, but I don't think the team would allow that. And I just didn't know how far gone the Kamloops chapter was with their power, and I'm sure they tried to get something done. Put some fucking weird chip in me or something. Like, I thought that was possibly possible recently, but it's not. They just put in a masculine hernia because I lifted weight the wrong way, I'm like Newfie from jail. There's not enough weight in the gym for me. That's why I don't go to the gym anymore. When I go, it's for like 45 minutes, and it's quick and it's in and out. And, and nowadays I can. And when I get late, it's like 5 minutes. That's all I got in me. It takes practice. Some women know that, and I don't have any friends with benefits. And I don't. I never had one. I've been busy studying. When everybody else was busy in high school getting graduated, I went off on my own because I was on my own, and I was working at Rebel Auto. I was, and I had my first taste of extortion. But I still owe Donnie, and Donnie from Philly is a different Donnie. And Dinky Donnie, he didn't get called on by anybody, but I knew him, and he had a mechanic there. And I don't like him anymore. I like Donnie. That Donnie. There's more than one Donnie, and he'd be like, wouldn't it be like Donnie Brasco? No, Donnie and Surrey could be like Donnie Brasco because he's still mad about that beating Brett Hayden put on him. Guess who made that order? I didn't make an order. I just said, hey, I told Brett. He said something about mom, and she hates me for it. That's her love of her life, and they're married. Those two are married. She may be sleeping with Eric still, but hey, maybe Eric's got a side piece. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe she's better looking and she's better in bed. Maybe Eric's getting it two ways, and it's Eric Cody landscaping. Never was Eric Christie, or it's Eric's uh, credence, or Eric's clearance, or Eric's uh, ceramics, or Eric's. It's anything but Eric Christie. Because you made it when I was down there, and I went to work for Eric, never for Eric. She may be in the book still, but she's ripping you off like Karen fucking T. And you should hire a accounting outside. Pay the extra. If she does it for free, she's ripping you off for Donnie. And she wouldn't dare do that to Eric's son and Tate and Donna's son. And I know the family well because I was down there for a year. And I got to know Eric. And I got to know Donna because I worked there. And I'm Cody Hayden. That's the same guy. And they came up with a plot up here where Chris Gregoire pretends to be Cody Hayden. And if he wants me to take a fall, as if he can go fall on his own grenade. Because he's the guy that's been killing up here for fucking decades. And up here, I say that because we're north of the 49,000 parallel. And we get winter first. We're north of all the schools. When you go further north, you get to PG. When you go further north, you get to Vanderhoof. And when you go further north, you get to Houston, BC. We got a Dallas and a Houston up here too. And the spoiled man of Texas. I know one thing about a popcorn fart. When Derek has a popcorn, it means move on to the next one. And and Bradley and Cody, we're tight. We get what we call out of this. That's all I want. And me and Bradley do eventually. And it's a patient game we play. And well, Brad knew Brett, and I knew it. And I knew that nobody talks to me about my brother. So that was my brother. And Chris G doesn't have a fucking clue about my family because my dad hasn't found the secret yet. And well, and he hasn't because they don't mess with that internet because they're not sure who the kid knows. Jumbo called me the kid. I never accepted it. Jumbo called me the kid. I never. He said the kid like as third person when I was in the room. But I was a teenager then, and I know about a G. And that was his alias. I know about Nigga G. No Nigga J. And he was a buddy of mine, but he was poisoned by Jason R's out of Salmon Island, the fish. He was poisoned by the fish in his eyes, and so was Duncan. And they went the wrong way on greed, and they went the wrong way on lies. And it's just sad because the propaganda that is Iffy's is crumbling. He's like a house of cards, and it's just. And he's a fish too, then. Or he's not a fish. He's a serious man. But he wants me to take a fall on a grenade for him. I wouldn't fucking dare. I'd say, hey, Bacon Senior, you take a fall on the grenade. Or he wouldn't do that for Iffy, and Iffy wouldn't do that for him. So you guys are natural enemies then, and you are, because you guys both want me to take a fall on a grenade that I didn't even throw or I have nothing to fucking do with. So you guys take your own fucking fall if you're even under investigation at all. And you guys are fucking stupid if you think I'm taking a fall for you guys. Not a fucking chance. You guys are under. You guys, Bacon Senior might have a RICO indictment on the way. Maybe he does. Maybe he's got the money to get out of it, like with big fancy lawyers. I like the chance of being rich in the first place. And fucking motherfuckers. I call them maggots because they eat their own. And all Nomads have been doing if he's say, and if he wants to say that he's already the ruler of BC, and then if he's the ruler of BC, why don't you go get a meter stick and see how many years of life you have left? Because me and Mr. Pittman, senior, well, he's not a senior, but the oldest one, I know one thing about plainsmen. I'm just a plain man. And I never put the colors on. I never fucking will. Not that I disrespect all of them. Some of them are good. Like Uncle Mario, he's a Hell's Angel. course he is. Oh, they didn't put the colors on there. He avoided it. Why is he avoiding everyone like the plague? Well, maybe they didn't put the colors on it. I can't know for sure. I know a building where he might live because I know his vehicle. And he's not talking to Dad anymore, so he's probably not a house angel. And maybe he didn't find the cute feet. And maybe he did. Because I've been a drug dealer my whole fucking career since I was 13. And I took 1 year off. I was exiled. Well, I got court ordered out of the province. So what did the Hells Angels say about that? Is that when Chris Lance said she's fucking her father? And that's her problem. So she should probably be embarrassed. So she lost her cookie business. Good. I could care less about her. You wouldn't believe. I could care less about her. And the only good thing she ever did in life was have Tyler hit by a vehicle. Because Tyler now knows who his uncle is. And I got your back. And the man who did it, he said Jason Robertson didn't pay enough. And Jason Robertson did it for Iffy and did it for Bacon Sr. And the cars that were hit in front of 2255 Middle Street and Top Street, my mom's and her friend from work. And those cars were hit by Bacon Sr. too. And I just call him a flagless man from Hawaii. The Battle of Midway was fought a long time ago. And the Japanese were awesome. And we already went through the stock wars, me and the money man. We're not worried here. The stock wars were shut down. We got a little too competitive. And that was a good time. And you want to talk about money being made? There's still men that have that like that. And they're usually young. And the oldest of men are behind mahogany tables, and they didn't go too far. So it was a good time. And they still read the newspaper if they can find one. Do they still have those in the vendors? I watched Phone Booth, the movie as a kid. This is a great movie. This is Colin Farrell. And he was stuck in a phone booth. And, well, Komodo dragon throwing Corona first. And some women just can't believe that I have my own. I'm my own director, producer, and content creator. And I do pretty good. And it says 0 for me. How much does it say for you? I called legal aid, and I got a court date. And don't worry, it's all right. And nobody need to worry, because Montana was the fourth woman I ever loved, and she was. But I didn't date any other ones. I didn't. I'm the one with the saber-tooth teeth. Me. And I'm not Dracula. I don't drink blood. Maybe I'll start. Maybe a lot of people will. Yeah, not the women, but the Kamloops Chapter, because they just wish. They wish one thing, that I was on their team. But there's a core group of 5 or 10 of them from Kamloops that are all his. Well, he's got 70-year-olds working for him. He's over 80, and I don't know any of them. So, and Brent Keane was never on his payroll. He's a legitimate man his whole life, and I know that for a fact. And if he was a housing, it was for a different fucking place, and probably wasn't. And I know he grew up out in the Kootenays, and I can't remember the name, but I can find it on the map. Brent Keane's a good man, and he was my buddy growing up. He might have gave me a drink of rum a little early, but that was he didn't force it on me. And the old man didn't like him, but kind of like his other dad. And Wayne and him knocked him dead because he got pissed off at Ben one day because Ben said he'd call him in for having a fire in the shop, and Ben would never call him in for that. But my dad's not going to jail for 30 years. I got his back. And if you can't throw him under the bus, because if you go to jail and rap, if you start singing, he still won't be going to jail. Because they've been singing on me for years probably, and no one's told me. Oh, anytime anybody gets caught, it's fucking C from BC. That's Clifford. And he wants all the money. It must be in his name. He's got money in Cayman accounts too. But where'd you get it all with the pension like that? Because you worked. I never did. My pension is probably like, if I took my pension today, I'd be getting like a coffee. I'd be getting a coffee a day. Maybe. Probably not. I haven't paid into the pension fund, but if gas, I pay tax on gas and groceries, and then rent. I paid rent since I was 13 when my mom, Tracy's cousin, or no, Tracy's his brother. I know I'm not trying to sleep with his sister. It's just a funny joke. Because if you take into account Cliff Bryan still meets with her father, but she getting high priority information out of him. There's I was trying invasive television connects this morning, and nobody cares what you think. Move to Toronto and start a new life. You should change your name. You're embarrassing to the whole family, okay? That's why she's still meeting with her father in hotels. She's not. Are you sure about that, Kristen? Because I made a broad assumption. I'm an expert at interrogation, and she's being interrogated here. Kristen, you're caught. You're still at work. You got to walk out of that office with and you know Bacon Senior's daughter, and you two are friends in Vancouver, and you're seen talking at restaurants all have cameras, and I guess who's in charge of those cameras? The business owners and the people that know who they are, Well, she's an aristocrat, high society, and she sleeps with Donnie, Jason, and Eric's the boss of VC Landscape. And he hasn't got a marketing plan yet. We're thinking about opening up a division up here. And maybe I work for Eric again. Because I never fucking worked for Crystal, and she's just a lazy fucking slob that laid on the couch. Well, she's popping Tylenol like Skittles. What's that going to do? You got to see the movement tolerance. She was abused as a kid. And go talk to a fucking therapist. I ain't one. And this song is not for her at all. Nothing I do is for her. She's an absolute no good. She's absolutely no good. And I can't stand her. And what I said today where I was the truth. She knows Nikki. She knows her. It's a secret. And Nikki probably sees with Jason. And they're the 40-something-year-olds. And they're just not very good at covering up on their lives. And someone's blushing. Well, maybe she's at work. Maybe she isn't. And, well, I don't know Nikki's last name. So, and I know they know each other, Crystal Ann. And Crystal Ann is the gateway from Bacon Sr.'s daughter. She lives in Vancouver. And I could give a fuck about Bacon Sr. in Ohio. He's using Crystal Ann however he wants. He'd have her killed like that. She's not useful. And she knows that, so she's trying to, you know, try and figure something out. Like she's a boss. She's not boss over there. She isn't boss in that place. She means nothing there. She doesn't work there, and she's just a nobody. And she's somebody in Vancouver. But do they know that Chris Gregoire is pretending to be Cody Hayden? Is this just a big fix-up? And Chris Gregoire was said that he dated Cody Hayden. He just makes fun of things. And he's the reason why Scott McIntyre got killed in the first place. I think it was a kill for them, and it was an overdose. Well, who stabbed him with a needle when he was sleeping? Because he didn't overdose. No fucking way. Shane's gone too, and I can't take the blame for it because I had nothing to do with it. But they just want to kill off people around me because they want me on their fucking team. Well, they didn't get me on their team. Not a fucking chance. I wouldn't become a Hell's Angel now or ever. And if nobody told me about Ralph Barge passing, there's a reason for it. And that's me being an investigative mind because I ain't a copper either. I know one thing about copper. It's what Highland Valley Copper Mine produces. That's where Grandpa Wayne Astle retired out of. 1 month later from Denise passing, well, it wasn't suicide, but he baited him in. Wayne Astle was a genius, and he was. He's the smartest man I ever met. And maybe he wasn't as smart as some other men, but I never got to know them personally. Because Wayne Astle was my grandfather. Biologically, no, but he was my grandfather. My dad's dad was, I never met, was biologically my father. He was probably busy because he was a contract hitman, and maybe he was. He never got caught. He died in the early 2000s or late 90s. And his brother was Uncle Ivan. Or was that Denise's brother? I don't know. But his name was Ivan, probably for Crazy Ivan. And that was well, what's a Crazy Ivan? Hey, was it Uncle, Great Uncle Ivan? I know what a Crazy Ivan is. And somebody knows the movie better than me. And they let them figure it out. And Valdick doesn't know what a Crazy Ivan is. Valdick, you've been had, fella. Hey, Valdick. Waldick. Waldick Radio. And he had the golden gem right the crown jewel of imaginary world that is Iffy. And they're all scared of Iffy. But I know Iffy's son. And I shared a kiss with his daughter. Well, we only shared a kiss. And you have one man not able to open up his restaurant because you said no. Well, I think he opened up that restaurant. And Chef Sherry can get a job anywhere she wants. She could have 2 jobs even. I'm not going back to the kitchen. I might go back to the kitchen to try and get Chef Sherry back. I call her Chef Sherry. She's not my mother. I came from a rock underneath a rock in a cave, and that's where Guy and Sherry found me. Well, they've been together all these long years. And my mother's never had she never had an affair with Ron Boucher or Pat Gaines. She knows how to play Game of Thrones. She's playing them both. She knows one thing. She knows who her son is. And she knows one thing. Chris Gregoire is not welcome back on that fucking property, or me and your real dad, Chris, are going to have a discussion about removing you from your form of imaginary world, Chris. Because you don't have a fucking say, Chris. You really don't. You're between Iffy and Boucher, and that's it. And that's your say. And his other say is secretive, and he can't say. And well, I haven't sent any letters to anybody because well, I haven't yet. And I got friends in the money world, which is high finance. And I haven't met them yet, but it would be nice to make 40. These guys they just don't get it, and they're jealous. They've been jealous of me since elementary school for 2 reasons. Because I had a girlfriend, and I can't barely even remember anything about it because I was smoking weed with my brother. And I have very few memories. I remember there was a young man who committed suicide there at that school, or beside the school in the backyard. May he rest in peace. He committed suicide. My brother ended up committing suicide. And I was probably the nail in the coffin for my brother Brett Hayden. And that's the truth. There's nobody, no nomad strung him up. That's a lie. Whatever they're saying is bullshit. If the Hells Angels just want to be on fear, they have their own fear. They're called Hells Angels. And they are to be feared. But I'm not part of them. I know of the Hells Angels from World War II that flew secret missions. And those are the Hells Angels I would fear. I heard, I read about once in a book that, Ralph Barger was not in the real Hells Angels. He was not a war vet. He was kicked out of the Corps. Or kicked out of the forces, the service, one of the service branches of the Pentagon. He was kicked out, and he probably wanted revenge on those who were kicked out, so he came up with a clever idea. And the idea was Hells Angels Motorcycle Club. And Ralph's not here to fact check that, but I'm pretty fucking sure that's the truth. And Ralph Barger died, and I think he was a great leader. And I knew that when I read the book Hells Angels of War when I was 13. And I didn't tell my peers that, because what the fuck do they need to know that for? They don't know. None of them have even read that book. And some of that have read it, but it found it tough to read. Well, they aren't me, and I ain't them. So I don't see anyone. And Garrett, Josh, Brandon, Jumbo, and Jay, and the later guy. Jumbo was, he pissed me off once, but I think I was just lying. And I was just lying because Jumbo wasn't even in town that day, was he? And after I got out of the hospital, he said Jumbo was on his way to come meet me downtown. I waited, and nobody showed up. So I was Ira just lying for Valdic, because Ira was been in Valdic's pocket the whole time. And Valdic, I think, I can't prove it, but I think Valdic had Kyle in his pocket in elementary school. And he did what Valdic said because he didn't want Donna to be in trouble with the Hells Angels. And the boys are now still the boys, because they always were the boys. And then that's their propaganda. And I offered something online that was an interesting idea, but hey, the man in Hawaii is still the boys. He's still a boy. And the mafia is still not the man. That's big business. That's government. You see the difference? The man is the man, and the boys are still the Hells Angels because they're not government. And what happens in BC, province of BC, is important because it sets a precedent for the rest of the Hells Angels in the world. They ain't fucking government at all. And what happens around the world is interesting because certain men want the government in some places, and certain men have the enforcement. Certain places like the Pentagon aren't in a serious war right now. I think Donald Trump, I think it was Donald Trump or Joe Biden, one of the three got him out of Afghanistan and Iraq. I think they did that with Donald. And I think I've seen the news, and I think that was done properly as best they could. And I think they left the fundamental tools of, how they do their form of business, like war isn't business at all. It's war and not business at all, but their form of, you know, what they left there was well, they left some infrastructure there at least, and at least that can be studied and remade elsewhere. And just, I've seen documentaries and stuff, and I'm not a secret anything. I just have my own perspective, and I'm on the continent of North America. I have my loyalties to Americans through mainly documentaries and movies and different things. And hey, Uncle Sam never brainwashed me, but I was on the Soviet sub first or after a aircraft carrier. I bet you that aircraft carrier towed that fucking thing, because how'd they get it here? They didn't. They didn't sail it. You don't sail a U-boat, and it wasn't a U-boat. It's a Soviet vessel, and I was on it. Maybe Adam Sincevich was on it too. Maybe he was, but he isn't a fucking electrician, and Valdic isn't a trucker, and that's a fact. And I'm just reading their fucking mind at this point because they have their own propaganda. Once they get iced, one thing that won't happen is Chris G won't become Cody Hayden, and Chris G is Chris Gregoire, and your dad's Canadian Armed Forces, and your sister's Angel, and he's in Kelowna, and he's wondering what the fuck have you done with your life? He must be, because he's a nomad now, and he's a secret one, and now everybody knows. Nice try, Chris. Now you want me dead? You've killed before. What do you know about Owen Thompson? Hey, Chris, what do you know about him? I knew he was a friend. And he was in my life my whole life. And he's a guy that had an uncle that was a mayor. And he's a guy that should not have been killed. But there were some young guys going out on their own. The only one I ever brought to that ranch was Jeff Cassidy. So how did anybody find out that there was there? He was there, but he was friendly to Owen. He was just there trying to help Owen out. That's how I knew it. And I was surprised to see that. Was it a frame up? I think it was. But I can't prove that. So this isn't me informing. This is just me being curious. And now Chris wants me dead, does he? Well, Chris, you're out of the you were you don't know Ron Boucher anymore because you're out of the flock because you're doing something that's embarrassing and you have to stop doing it. And you like drag. Nobody else does. Okay? So you're doing that stuff and you're a nomad, that's embarrassing to them. You can't do that, but you're under high pressure because you don't want to even do it for work. And if he's forced it on you and you don't want to do it anymore, well then quit. Don't take orders from me. Don't try and double cross me as you have been all day. You don't know where I am because you can't fucking tell me. I can't protect your family, like your actual relative. If you do, fucking moron, because I'm more powerful than you. Get it? And if you can't do a fucking thing to me and he knows it. He gets a phone call coming in from New York, he picks it up, or else he gets in shit. And he does pick it up. And if he doesn't pick it up, he's known as a defector against the man. Not Uncle Sam, no. But, someone in New York State would be the man to him. Because he's still one of the boys, whether he likes it or not. The nomads were designed to kill off Hells Angels. That's how Sonny Barger wanted it. He would have just wanted me on the internet telling the story of what I learned in Hells Angels at war. Well, they're bikers. They're always at war. They're white men. Aren't they always at war? Well, I know of the Mongols. They're not all white. Do they have some bloodlines associated with Mongolia? Well, they must. I've seen some pictures of them. They're not white men. Does it mean they're racist? Well, I don't know. I haven't asked any of them. Do they need to ride north and signify that they know who I am? Wouldn't that be nice? They're not allowed in the province to be, if you make sure of it. Well, what the fuck do they do wrong? Maybe they need to come up here in silence. Maybe there's one of them here collecting this form of information. Maybe he doesn't even need to go outside. Maybe he just gets it to me. And the nomads don't kill Hells Angels in this province. The nomads aren't mad. They're pretty sane. But in this province, they don't kill each other off because they all saturate here. And they love it here because it's gold frenzy here. And they're trying to take over the resources. What the fuck did they do with the water table? And why is the water all gone coming out of the South Thompson? Why are the lakes going down quickly? Well, how much weed are they growing out there? Because the North Thompson, they shut down some crops and went hydroponic. The South Thompson, well, that's Valdic's area of interest. He's fighting a war against you, Bacon Sr., and he's in Hawaii, and he didn't even know that. I figured that out on my own. And Valdic is scared shitless, and he was scared of me once when I was comparing it with the pro price. Oh, hey, Valdic, it's just a little bit of blow. But you were in on ripping me off the whole time with Tony and Tony Iderola and Andy. Andy was at least showed face, but he lied to me outright. We did a roof job. It doesn't leak, Andy, but you should have told me that you're ripping me off. You me off from, you don't think I'm going to be neuter? How about you get turned to a eunuch? You're a Hell's Angel. So your sisters don't talk to you for a reason. And I buried a $50 bill somewhere once. Somebody probably found it by now. And it was for, a birthday present for your daughter because you never fucking introduced me to her or your wife. So, yeah, why is that? Because you wanted to keep them hard and tight? Well, I know people that I know, and they know people that I do know, and hey, I'm pretty fucking sane. I just can talk a lot. It's content creation, and I've got the YouTube. I've got the YouTube account. It says 0 for me, but when the Queen was here, you guys don't want to hear about the Queen because she was hard on you guys. See, some of these things that happen. Maybe some of you guys got buried and you don't know what happened over the years. Maybe Rusty's around Rusty now. Maybe, man, it's really, I'm blue-eyed still. I haven't done evil. Nope. Some of my pictures, I'm red. I have pigment in my eye. And I read a lot. I'm smart. Big fucking deal. I'm smart. I was a smart too. That's a good picture, man. That was at 2255. And you guys thought, you guys think you're gonna break me, and you think I was just gonna roll over because you're a totalitarianistic, militaristic tyrant. Bacon Senior makes you all scared and shitless, and scared, and you guys are too afraid to go out against him. So you're gonna just keep on trying to kill me, and he has to be the one that he's gonna get a piece of the dope line. He is, but it's gonna be 50 cents to Craig and 50 cents to him per ounce. And when it gets busy, they'll do just fine. When I get a proper deal, because what are you guys pulling it off the boat for? What, $100 an ounce? Less than that? Did you guys mix your own up here? Where's it come from? The Mexicans, or do they sail it right by? Do you have Colombian ties, or do they have to go to the Mexicans? Exactly. So that's a big beef right there. And I'm the guy that can be trusted with the whole fucking load, the whole semi-full. Maybe I do a gram out of it. That's all I need to do because I got it out of my system. And I'll do a railway fucking now. It's legally allowed to have 2.5 grams. So, and all the 50, 60-year-olds, they all think they're like 35. You guys don't have to do organized crime in this province in 30 years. You'll all be fucking dead probably. You get it? You guys don't get what you're fighting. You guys have been sheltered by ripping me off and not paying attention to the dope business. You guys aren't in the dope business. You're into the ripping Cody Hayden off business. You fucking three cons. You guys are the marks in the fucking con. That is. You fucking Hells Angels live in La La Land because you kill off your own people here like fucking nothing. Because you guys are trying to take over the alphas. Human beings don't work like that. They have a command structure, and they're called the RCMP, and they are the alphas in other than Canadian Armed Forces. Do they need to get busy? Well, do they? The veterans are around. And Bikers Against Bullies, they just want to see how far I can push Rombo. Rombo, you should pay me back. You should. He's got his own company now today. Because I drove by and I can see that. And he owes me $300. And he does. Tons of money. It's fair trade. And he keeps telling me he's broke. And it's bullshit. And I ain't a fucking rat. I'm the same guy. And guess what, Rombo? You're not fucking 35 anymore. It's ignorant. And that's what Tony's doing. He's trying to break good friendships apart. And I met you through Cole Hughes. And Cole Hughes knows Cody Hayden from Chris Gregoire, who he's never fucking met. He's in Alberta now, and he never put the colors on either. Thank Christ. Unless he did secretly. I hope he did, because they just brainwash you. And that's what they do. They brainwash you. And this guy in Hawaii, he's a fucking goof. And he's a clown. And he's got clown shoes on. And he sits around with his daughters, and he just listens to this, waiting for me to be killed. And I'm not a tyrant. This is actually me just being me. And a lot of people can watch this, but he's going to tell them, oh, it's just a Kamloops chapter because he owns the, no, I made it out. And it's not just Kamloops chapter that gets this. And I guess one thing. And hey, I didn't sell my portfolio. I kept all my positions. I play three-dimensional chess. And Buddy in Hawaii is still playing checkers. And what are you going to do? Order another hitman? There's already been 2 of them on my tail. And what's Andy, Tony, and Al doing about that? Nothing. They want me dead now because you put a black skidder or a fellow buncher out there to signify death. We're going to cut you off. I'm still making sales, so fuck you. And what if I had a couple of my friends from high school? You guys can't say shit. If I had in who owned the building when I was doing options trading behind Denny's, you guys can't say shit because those guys don't want to shut me down. You guys hold the fear in this land because if he's tired, tyrannical fucking killing spree, and the fear in the land goes to the big money, and they don't have the big money. They have the little Paquito money. I learned that in Mexico. He wanted my hat. I didn't give him my hat because it was sweaty. I would have bought him a new hat. But hey, Mexico, you say Mexico and you say Hells Angels, they got big investments down there. But what the fuck is Brian Leduc going in 5 villas, trying to suck up to somebody he knows? He's probably never had to sit down in the big leagues. He probably wishes he could, but he's a drunkard now and he's looking at divorce. I wouldn't doubt it. It's 50-50, Brian. 50-50. That's how it works when someone gives you a son. And I know that because I paid rent to you for 18 months exactly. And it was 1,100. He dropped it down to 1,000. And what happened to Rain? Rasmussen. What happened to her? I didn't think she did turn off. And Brian, she was probably happy to know me, and she wasn't allowed to even read me or be around me. And you guys wouldn't allow it, and she had a tough time that night because it was one of the first times I only did meth like twice in my 20s. Like I did it with Yvonne, and somebody did drop off a lace one day. I told them straight up. And this is when they were lacing me with my drugs. And they don't do that anymore because it's past since February 1st when they all attacked me at the Kamloops chapter. They're tired and they've gone weak because they're all 65-year-olds, and I'm 35 and I'm ready for a fucking fight. And they don't want to fight no more. And Bacon Senior is just hoping I shut up so he can have me killed. And Bacon Senior, you are not your family. Your family's disowned you in some parts of the world. So fuck you, you fucking faggot. You know what I mean? This guy's missing. Not missing, he passed away. And he's a relative of somebody. And he's a son of somebody too. And I'm fucking not happy for it. I'm on the same bridge where Queen Anne passed away. That's what I heard. And that doesn't make sense to me. Who has a house right beside it? The blue house is good. That's Pat Haynes' house. And he's invaded the First Nation land, and your invasion is almost over. So I go there and pick the drone. Well, the dog was sick. The dog winked at me last night. And he did. Or his eyes just twitched. And Chris G, you're not the alpha in the wolf pack. Because guess what? The wolf pack, they're scared of you, but they were designed as an alliance between men that don't like Iffy and don't like the man in Hawaii. Ralph Archer was battling the man in Hawaii the whole time for power. Ralph Archer passed away, and I seen him when I first looked online, September. 24th. And then when I looked again, it was June. So, and the Queen's funeral was September 8th, the same year. And my grandma and grandpa passed away that same year, 2022. And the bedrock for creators is only for 80 plus females. And that's a secret society. So we got 5% of the world's power. And that's that. Fuck with us. See what happens. Bacon Sr. doesn't like that because he never met a woman that he could fall in love with because he's a vile fucking idiot. And he's got a woman he thinks he loves, although she's probably 20 something, and he never married the goose and gander. He just beat his wife. And he's a violent man. He's a woman beater. People should know that. I never met him, but I bet he is. And other people are raised different, and they weren't raised that way. And a certain kind like Derek Weatherhead, he's in love with a 16-year-old. I don't fall for young women. Not a chance. And you don't work for Cody Hayden. Nobody works for fucking Cody Hayden. Nobody. Nobody does. Because I don't have anyone working for me to give me money. So if he doesn't work for Cody Hayden, nope. He works for Bacon Sr. in Hawaii. And that's that. Because I don't have any workers. And you could watch me all day with a telescope from fucking space there, Bacon Sr. And he probably does. And you can probably hear this from out the window. This is a thing called spy satellites. He probably has the money to put one way out in orbit, just beside the one the Vatican might have. He's challenging the Vatican for power because he's a fucking moron. Maybe those exist for 2024 years, and they'll be here in 2025. You might not be. You can hide up behind your dollars all you want, but they could just poison you and get rid of you. And that'd be nice. And the chef wouldn't do that. No, I'm not getting him a chef. But he has the meals catered for. I got to make my own. I was never allowed a girlfriend with the ability to do her own chores because Atlanta Polchek and me, we just didn't get along. And I wasn't. She's married off probably, and she has a good life. She was one of Jim's employees, and she did a great job. And I know Jim, not personally, but from Dragon's Den. I like the way he does business. And I know his last name, but I'm not going to say it. For people to find out, they could Google it. And I'm going to Google it? No, I'm not. I know Jim, and I know a big Jim from Kamloops, different Jim. And I know of Jimmy Patterson, different Jimmy Patterson. And with the man that manages Jimmy Patterson, stop being so strict with people that shoplift because the prices are through the roof for everything. For everyone's expensive. He sources his groceries locally, so they're more expensive. I seen him. Well, he pushed me into the wall one day. Went to a pop machine, and he didn't have any reason to do that. And that's assault. And I don't want to charge him, but I didn't hurt too much. I still tapped him out. So I didn't get thrown in jail. But he has my bag still. He kept it in a assault bag. That's my bag. So he stole from me. I need assault bag. But hey, I let it go. Jimmy's got loyal employees. He does. The different Jim, the more dog, he gave me shoplift once. I never shoplifted again from that location. But I baited that manager in downtown. That was just eating raspberries in the store. Maybe I was going to pay for them. Maybe I took one thing out of raspberries out of that. Maybe it's not reason enough to fucking push me into the wall that hard. He's not really waiting ahead that guy, but he does a good job managing the store. Well, I don't know what's up with him, but he has my assault bag. That's theft. And well, he's probably not watching. He's at work. He's watching when he shouldn't be watching. So I got the YouTube feed, and Jimmy Patterson is a good man. I wrote a poem recently, and I referred to him in there. But you have to figure out what poem there is. I wrote one for Jim and David too, and we want to be a two-man for restaurateurs. The one still is, and the other one is too. And restaurateurs, because they both have multiple locations, or one has been leased out or something like that. But I know he's wealthy. I don't know how much, but I'm proud to know him. He knows he's hard work when he sees him. And this is kind of like work. And well, who's who? Well, I know of Jim, I know of David, and there's David and Goliath. And well, we're not biblical. I don't go to church, but I know of a bishop downtown. And if he found out that a certain man wouldn't allow his wife to be divorced or do anything except do what he's told, do what she's told, she would understand one thing: he's not at war. He doesn't have any wars to fight because he just hates me now because I beat him cold-blooded. I spied on him for my country and the sovereignty of this fucking nation. If I could tell you what Bacon Sr. strategy was, we'd be here for 3 fucking days. He's a tyrant. He's a tyrant. The man without a fight. The death head stone tyrant. And Mel Barge is gone now, and he kept him at bay. And the good man is hurt. And he's a president down at Kamloops Chapter. And he probably finds this makes sense. And, well, Ralph Barger was fighting for the president of the Kamloops Chapter for power. He started with one car left, and now he's going to die without a family that loves him. So, ha, 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 ha. They like you for your money, and not for you. Because you have your daughters around to help you with crime, and that's how they're all weak links. You don't even let him. Well, under interrogation, and he won't let him have one. He doesn't let him leave the house. He's brainwashed him from the birth, from before birth, from different women. I bet. How do I know all this? Well, there's only one. Maybe one in Vancouver knows Chris Grimm. That's her father's last name. She is not Guy Dagnall's daughter, stepdad. That's her stepdad. Brett Michael, that was his dad. And Michael Grimm was never Brett's father. Brett was his, Brett was his son. And that's the bottom line. I remember a story one day Brett told me that no man was in the bedroom for a minute. And he said he had to go out. He said he had to sell an ounce of meat. And he worked out on the east side. He said that he was a dangerous man at all night. He only made it to 21, but he used to tell me stories about when they came back into my truck, they came back from Canal. He was at Dallas Elementary once, and he was probably in like grade 6 or 7. I got there in grade 2, so a few years I didn't see him. He was there for one Christmas in the basement before Getty Road, before Randy owned the place. But he's the man that built Tumbleweed. He's the man that worked on the railway, and then he passed away years ago. He probably didn't like Tony Adderall. He probably didn't like him at all. Maybe that's an old railway beef. And, Tony Adderall, he's like the Billy Miner nowadays. And I don't like him. I can't prove that, but he's probably got heat. And good on you. You're a fucking con artist. You want to con me? You can con, you fucking con. All right, he's a mark. That's all he is to me. Now he wants to do something. He wants to be another fish. He's not a fish. He's a miniature. He's like a barracuda. And the JR is like a little guppy. And I'm calling the question his manhood. If you want to sit down anytime you want, anytime, north or south shore, fella, I'm going to meet you for the first time. And you can't bring a shooter. I'm not talking about shots. They don't want to talk to me in person because the other guy has his hands on me. He groomed me for something. Like what? Out spying you for punking me while everybody knew that I wasn't going to stand for him. And Valinsky, no Slinky. And Grandpa's all right. He's being Grandpa. And he was good to me then. But he is in the middle of a powerful man. Who isn't under powerful rich? He just wants to hang on to his riches. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't want to hang on to the riches? Who wouldn't want to go to jail for 30 years? I mean, that's pretty fucking obvious. And all Ralph Burge probably ever wanted was me to sit on here and talk. I'm talking. And I can say one thing. I ain't the Hell's Angel. I'm not a nomad, and I never fucking will be. And my dad may be one, he may not be one. He may have been a hang around, but he didn't want to hang around anymore. He may be like Kelly, maybe, but he's not being seduced by Tony, Andy, and Al. Those are his buddies when they're young. They're all rich, Dad, and you don't get to take Wayne Assel's earnings and Grandma Denise's earnings and use them against me because you've been a good dad. You're awesome, and if he wanted to leave me something, well, I'm gonna have to get my hands on it because I haven't talked to the family yet. And I messaged Trina, Tracy, and Melinda about talking to great Uncle Johnny about just maybe trying to get my cat back. I understand that Sonny's uncle is too powerful, and he's the one that engineered the fentanyl crisis, or not the policeman. That's he's a different man altogether. But powerful families meet powerful families, and he's not a traditional Hells Angel. Maybe he is. Maybe he's part of the chapter. There's 2 chapters in Surrey, and one of them is all brown guys, and that's Valdek's little play because he quilted his own Hells Angels patch in Eastern Europe. I bet with his buddy. He's in politics in Warsaw, and who knows who that is? I don't know. But he kept his dad's name and changed the first name. That's what he did, Valdek. And he's ex-KGB Valdek. I know he is. I caught him. I caught a Tommy by the toe, and I got him by the toe. And he can't do nothing because he got no dough. And I don't know because I don't go. And I ain't no hoe, and I don't do blow. And I don't need to show anything because I don't know because I don't know. I ain't nothing because I ain't a dirty-ass tracked out flow. Yellow teeth out, and it's just because the sun shining. And I like it. Keeps the women away. All those drama all into my enclosure. Well, I don't enclose women, and I don't human traffic. And I'm known not to fucking human traffic. And I made a video of Jody, Jesse and Glenn Dean, and they filmed it. And it's on my first Facebook I ever made. And that's Cody Hayden. And I had different hair then. And there was a sign there that said, watch out, you human traffickers. And guess who got into human trafficking wholesale? Bacon Senior in Hawaii. Because they tried to human traffic me. If I would have went in that hole in the wall where my cat was abducted, they would have had me prisoner. And they probably would have just raped something into me. To do what they want online. I don't fucking think so. I ain't a human trafficker. You guys wanted a fucking nemesis. Well, you got one with me. I don't human traffic women, you fucking sick sadistic motherfucker. And that's for Buddy and Hawaii. He's into it wholesale. And yeah, Chris G and Sonny will do it for him, and they like the because they like the result. And they have got to do whatever they want to those women, probably whatever they got, because that was not brand new. They used that house for a while. Have they used 505 Nicholas since? Not a fucking chance. It's a lonely house in my drive. I don't have any. There's no order for me to stay away from that house. No, I would never was on the property. I shone a light flashlight at the cameras was. Before I moved in, there was no cameras. When I moved in, there was cameras. There was cameras of me bringing in Bo's cats. And I was saying, I was under that cat like she's his. It's your cat's. If you hurt that cat, you will die by cold steel. I guarantee it. So it's the only thing keeping you alive. You're in your own place anymore. I ran into him accidentally. He said something to me, and I could see his eye go one way. He's not a feared man. No, his uncle is. He's a human trafficker. That's all it is. And that cannabis money is going away. It's gone legit. It's like when prohibition ended. Now they're fighting over those profits too. Because guess what, man? When human trafficking ain't going to fill the void for the cannabis money. So when you guys are done playing God with our water supply in British Columbia, us British Columbians that actually care can go fuck yourselves. Because the bikers who are here stealing water can go fuck themselves, okay? Do it legally. Put some of your legal launder money into a fucking share and wait for it to be profitable. Pull it out and pay taxes on it. Because the money men of New York, they gave a promise to all the investors when I was doing exchange 365. That was all me. That was me on Twitter. Or it was Twitter. That was all me. It was my IP address for a computer. That's it. Okay. I'll show you the computer. Just to show. I have my deal with it. What do you call that? I did Cleveland Family Radio. That's all me. Chuck is clever. This man might not have found it. He might have found it. But he does on the internet. It's up to him. And if he can't, what's going on he does. He's losing power. And he's doing big power. He does one thing. His son can come in and straighten him up. Does he need it? His son's not an angel either. And he's a nomad. And my dad might be one, but he doesn't know he's hanging around. It wasn't. Maybe he's hanging around. Not hanging around. And he's listening to his buddies. And his buddies are lying to you. Don't do talking. They said how they talk. They all learn something. And they all learn something. And guess what? The baby boomers, they're in shit. And the 7-year-olds aren't so much. Maybe one of them. Maybe none of them. It's a generational thing. The baby boomers in shit, starting with Pat. Pat Inc. If he has another affair, we'll cut his fucking dick off and shove it down his fucking throat. Does he need one? Does he need one? Why don't you go down to Columbia and negotiate, Pat? Because you don't do that. Somebody else does that for you. And fuck you. This is Toshiba. Dirty because I haven't used it lately. I put that screen in myself. I'm Cody Lee. There's only one of me. And I'm the one that was born 22nd, 89. Oh, wait. 357, like the rifle. I know I'd be useful for the pain. And guess what? I was a good one. And Guy is a good one, too. He's a good man. He cares about his country. He's from St. Hyacinthe. And his dad was Jean Marc. I can't say it like him. He's a Frenchman. He was baptized Roman Catholic. And I'm not Ralph Gardner's son or a relative. I never fucking will be. But Duke from Hamburger Hill, Duke's not from Hamburger Hill. I was the man in Oakland that was that relative to Sonny Buck and his son actually. He would have been trained in hearing me rant and rave, and he would be the natural heir to the housing group. And that's not me, because I don't want it. And if he's a man of power, then he's going to have it. Some men aren't a man of power. Some men don't want that power. And I would understand that. Duke is like a natural ally to Sonny. Was probably there on when Sonny was dying. And he would know more about Sonny than I ever know. I'm not a housing, and I don't want it. I'm not a leader of the housing. I'm a natural leader, and I'm just trying to lead Canada to continue being a sovereign nation. The man in Hawaii, he wants to take over the country. It's the whole country. He's got the West Coast. He's the man playing race. He's the main one in his board. No one tells him. They all probably think he's a fucking idiot. Not killing me when he had the chance, so he tried several times. Drugs. The kid's over it. I'm over it. I'm not mad at him anymore. I can't charge this one because the movie charger. And I've had 3 multi-charges last year. And people who make conflict. They don't even speak, or they only make inference because they're all really easy about this idea that I'm out of my and I buy into that. So nobody can get hurt that way. So that's the time. If I buy around and certain men, Tony, Al, and Tony, Al, and Andy can't figure out where I'm getting. And if they're trying to figure out and trying to ruin somebody else's line, and they'll look pretty fucking bad. And the baby boomers are out there. The baby boomers are using the 40-year-olds outright, and they don't want to play anymore. Well, because you guys are on the defensive, and I know people that are working away, and I don't know any of their middle names, so I don't even know if that's how you say it right. I was at his house once when I was young. He wasn't home. I was raised to be a fall guy. To them, I was a fall guy. I guess they're their own fall guys now. Because if they get to go to jail, I guess they'll still want me dead. They're waiting for somebody to kill me. And they think they know where I'm at. It's a green screen. And, well, that's a green screen. I mean, stop fucking thing. She's not here. It's a green screen. I'm tricky. You don't know where I'm at. You don't want to know where I'm at because I'm a little naughty. You ain't. There's a 189 downtown. It's supposed to be king. The land of the blind. The king is King Charles. He's the third. This land, this land, smartphones are king. And no, King Charles is king. But everyone has a smartphone and they're watching everyone on a piece of one screen. And different camera angle. And I'm with the Illuminati. I'm all hand in Wilson, and they do protect me. They just never had an underworld in me. So, and I'm not infiltrating because I know something about the Rockefellers. The Standard Oil had to be broken up. My uncle Grandpa Wayne taught me that. You had to break them up because they're too powerful. And me, I got nothing to break up. Unless I want to break my hand. It's like that scene in Casino where somebody with a ball pin hammer, that's like Andy. And that's like Al. And that's like Tony. You guys get me. You guys did shit with Becky's. You know what you did? You fixed me up for 21 years and you guys never told me why. You guys defected on Sunny in the 80s. You went vacant 10 years back. Reason why. And I know it because I studied it. I'm an organized crime historian. Go find the university class on that. I'm a philosopher and content creator. I do my own philosophy. And in my philosophy, I got an PhD. I did gangster philosophy once with a guy that could have been my cousin. And we could have just know before he tucked tail and overdosed somebody, I think. Maybe he did. But somebody still hurt. Two people are still there in the family without relatives. Two relatives. And the family with a traditionally Irish last name. And we are under attack. And reinforcements down from later on. Don't worry. That's scary for the consumer because he doesn't know from where. Nobody's gonna know because it's not their fucking business. I just gonna say that. No problem. If she's the only one that will do it, then you can climb him up. If she's got no other men to call. They all know one thing. I'm not running for this. I'm a lion. Leo. And 22nd of August, I'm like a virgin too. No, sorry. Virgo. And, well, they just don't want it. I know one thing. Don't be like Uncle Cody. Uncle Cody's introduced me, on the wrong side of the law. Maybe I do this better. Maybe Tony and Andy now do this. Maybe I get extra first, but I know something about the vote. It's not my business. Who am I going to vote for? I can't vote in states. Who do I like more? I can't say. But I can't say. And maybe there's just my mountain for a guy that's, actually would rather be on this side of things than he is. And it's a secret kind of thing. And he's still trying to take your fucking career that way. And that's not all right. And I know that because you're not Kamloops Chapter. And there's a difference there. And they're not all together. They're lying. They are lying. The baby boomers are trying to protect their own asses. And in this province, other than the chapter president of Surrey and my dad, and Barry up the hill there, Dale Hill, well, Other than that, and Randy's on his own. And great Uncle Randy is not Randy. As he's a snake, and he had a picture on a snowmobile the one year. In case I ever looked, and he's like 70 almost, going on 65. He's a young one. He married Eileen. She's an older person. And I got no problem with Eileen. And I know my last name is sacred to the veterans. And I know Chloe, Chloe, and I know about personally, and he just wants to do what Tony says. You don't have to give it 26 in a veteran. I could use the money right now. Right? You have it to do my business. So you like it as she wants to say that you have it in between. But that's all. I don't collect people, but I'm also going to do this. Both of those me too, but I kind of got a little bit hanging myself last year. And Wilfred's a good man. Me and Wilfred together, we fear that. I was going to listen to Wilfred. Wilfred's a good man. I'm concerned about his mother. His mother, we had dinner once. I'm actually concerned. See, I can mean that. Now, Tony could go stop by, but Wilfred don't want to see Tony. He don't want to see Andy, and he don't want to see Al, because that's a buddy of mine. And he reached out to me last year, and maybe I got a little ahead, and there's maybe not a number on it, because his mother wouldn't want to know that. And she's an old bird, and she's in her 90s, and she was I think I can say, a loyalist to Queen Elizabeth II. And there's nothing wrong with being that. And my mother had a tear in her eye the day that she passed, when she told me in the kitchen, last kitchen we worked on together. And there's lots of mother and son, you know, uh, duos that do very well. And I'm not asking for any reinforcements, because they're on the way. And these men don't want to know what that means, because they don't know what that means. Because if Bacon Sr. is fighting the 3-front war, he's fucked. And maybe he lives through it. Maybe he does. And he gets to turn even older and grayer, scared and lonely. Because his daughters don't have to stay with him. They can go elsewhere. And his security team's still going to be there. And they can go on vacation. Because they're grown women, and they can just go on vacation. And nothing will happen to him, because he's going to be scared and lonely. And he shouldn't be sharing with his sisters or his daughters, because it's not, organized crime isn't for the women. It really isn't. And it's true. It just isn't. That's how I've always operated. Other than last year when those girls thought they were sneaky, and Montana was quite clever. And what happened when that back window broke? It wasn't Montana that broke the window. It wasn't. And a woman broke the front window with what, a hammer? It wasn't with her hand. That motorhome was there since Pat Haynes was a prospect, and he prospected on that. And Wayne Astle would have designed something for that motorhome to see who had it in him. And maybe Pat Haynes had it in him at one point, but he's gone sick on murder with the fentanyl crisis, and he's tearing him apart. He doesn't know who to talk to. You could talk to a shrink, like Tony Soprano did on Sopranos. You could talk to one. It's okay. Just don't talk about business. Jesus, because your dad used the belt strap on you, maybe. All you guys got the belt when you're young, and you're all running from that. Well, nobody's gonna give Pat Haynes the belt strap, but Pat Haynes is gonna give that fucking something, unless he ends up being a good man. And you were told not to do something once, and you don't do that anymore, but you train men to do it. That's not good enough. And maybe you have been a good man. Maybe you are a better man than you think, and maybe you just don't like me right now. But you realize you can't do nothing to me because of who I know, and you guys don't know who I know, and you don't know who I keep in touch with. And they're not wanting to get rid of you guys altogether. So you still represent America, but there's a little problem that you guys got into things that just some of you didn't, and other ones did. And maybe Sunil and Chris are out on their own with the human trafficking. Maybe. And that's disgusting. I mean, maybe Chris is trying to play one way or another. But one thing he fears is Cody Hayden, because I tapped him out in front of Ron Boucher. And is there something that I don't know about you, Ron? You smiled at me one day when I was riding by on a hog. And that was a secret smile, or were you laughing at me? Because these teeth only go one way. They're straight. They're in there for good. My teeth are actually fine. But something Brian Ledoux knows about being French takes one to coup, and he's the Frenchman that was cooing, and Ron Boucher wasn't. He's proud of his country and stays in Canada for most of the time because he loves Canada. If he did anything overseas, it's just to blackmail you, and you probably didn't do it. And the blackmail ain't going to work on Ron Boucher. Ron Boucher's a Coast Guard, or he's a free man. He could, be a Freemason one day if he denounced the Hells Angels, because they don't have Hells Angels in their ranks, and they practice mathematics. And there's a sign in town that says a G, that's for Guy, and he's a Teamsters, and his truck was sabotaged. But maybe Pat and him have a beef from back in the day, and Dad's leaning Iffy's way, because Iffy doesn't have his best in mind. He tried framing us up with the syndicates all over the world by pretending to be you and Chris pretending to be me online with closed videos, and they all know who Cody Hayden is. They all seen you and they seen you in their live feed that I had as a security camera. So we've been cleared by the syndicates and the cartels and the mafias and all that. We're good, Dad. Don't trust Iffy and don't trust Chris Gregoire because they're not to be trusted. They're in cahoots, and Crystalline knows them and personally, and she knows Bacon Senior's daughter in Vancouver. They're all one family. They're like this. We have our own side. We're good. Okay? Widens, they love us, and they're just family. They're not involved with that at all. They're all legit. Tracy now, she's in kind of the head spy for the women, and she doesn't want to be, but she had to be to protect her second cousin, but she doesn't need to. She can get back to country music, where she's not a spy at all, because you can't spy if you're not a government worker and or for an agency. And I know something about treason. I ain't treasonous. I never fucking will be. I'm proud of my country. I'm a Canadian first, and a British Columbian second. But it's still called British Columbia. British Columbia. And there was a gun called the British, and there was a gun, and I think it was a bolt action. It wasn't lever action. I trained with lever action once, and I was just up there because you have to have a goddamn gun when you're in the bush. And I held on to a pistol, but I never shot it. And I know something about ballistics, and I know something that I didn't do. And if I was ever the suspect for something, maybe I was. But maybe the Queen wanted it kept that way to put the fear of God into certain men, the baby boomers, because I never even got interrogated about that because I didn't have anything to fucking do with it. Owen Thompson was my friend. And at the end of the day, he was in my life the whole time. And someone was probably just scared. And maybe she just got it wrong. But maybe the wrong man sits in jail. Maybe he does. And maybe they all fear that man because he was an American. He liked Owen too. Those two got along. And Owen, I loved him to death, but he just wouldn't. He had to get the big money out of Saskatchewan, and it was only for a few pounds. So Mike was just there helping out. And we hunted once, and me and Mike never had a problem. And I seen him when I seen him last, and he departed to where he was with a woman, and her name I can't remember. The stepson, his stepfather to a man. He's a grown man now, and I threw them both for a loop when I was getting out of Moose, and I was drinking whiskey, and I'm a good actor. And I think he's framed up. I really do. And I think he was framed up by men that fear him, and that was Iffy and Chris Gregoire. And they work together now because Chris Gregoire is not Cody Hayden. He never fucking will be. And Iffy, maybe you don't get caught, but maybe you weren't a government worker. Maybe you're a private businessman. You got more money than small banks. You tuck some money away in a church up in Pinnetan. That wasn't you. No, it wasn't. So you guys wanted to fuck me, and you want me to take a fall in a grenade that Bacon Senior threw? I don't fucking think so. You guys can maybe be under investigation. You can maybe not. It's too hot for you guys to move. Well, your hitmen don't have to move either. Because if anybody clips me, they're not going to pay you. They're going to clip you, and that's their plan. Guaranteed. And it's not going to be you're not going to be something you can talk about. So it won't be like a credible, murder, because you guys will be fucked. They will they'll traditional Italians out of New York will fucking not be able to hold back. They will just destroy you, man. And you guys should know that. And I never sat down with them once, but they know someone who's telling the truth and someone who's lying. And they know me from years of just doing good work. As far as small-time dope dealing, I was one of the best that done it. And I was quiet and low-key. And would drug dealers buy some rims for the rim companies? Because if you're a drug dealer and you're known, well, you probably won't get pulled over. You don't have to all be undercover like me. I'm not undercover. But I just used Hells Angels as a best strategy to my own, for my own benefit, and I'm not an undercover, and I'm not. I never fucking will be, because I'm not a CI either, and I'm not going to be made a rat. So, and I'm not, and it's not going to happen. So, I was just on Twitch TV too, and that's American Celeb 2B, and that's me. And if somebody else did this when they were telling people what to do, they probably also did this too. He probably did that, because I'm not like Ralph Barger. He's a different man. And I'm not like Ron Boucher. He's a different man. I'm not like Guy Daniel. He's a different man. And Apple didn't far too far from the tree, but I'm not a killer. I never was. I never fucking will be. So when you guys want to keep acting hard in the hood, like Christian without a shirt on, he still hasn't put a shirt on. I seen him drove past him the other day. It's up fall. He hasn't put a fucking shirt on. And he's been disowned by his family, but he's wanted alive. Some of the women in the family love him, and they love him for, they might love me too, but one man's been put in line by the back east, and if he's turn to go for a fucking sit down, and if you're wanting for a sit down in Montreal, you don't have a fucking choice, pal, because there's Hells Angels in town, and they're hunkered in. They just want to sit down with you to say, hey, what the fuck is your problem? And because he's the head man in the Nomads, isn't he? And he did it secretly. He did a good job. Well, you guys have got your own play there, and other men can go without the money. So, and he's scared of all sorts of people, and he's not scared of me though. Are you okay? I'm fine. So I didn't say nothing. He knows the side of him. He knows the side of a man that would, if I had to, and I should have just ran you off the fucking road because you were trying to kill me anyways. And if I did it a little further down, we would have had a nice race, and on the gravel, you would have lost. So I didn't. I had mercy. Remember that, mercy. And you remember that, pal. You went east. Why'd you go east? Because David Jr. said you were on the way. You couldn't get your gear on quick enough. And, well, I know what it looks like now. And David Jr. is not my problem. He's not. He's got a place to stay because of his father. And you got the same situation with David Jr., different families. So I told my dad to donate my end because I did. And I don't need money from him. My fix is in Kamloops without Tony, Andy, and Al involved at all. So they don't need to be involved because my dad's going to not talk any politics with me about dope trade because I won't make any sales in because that's Tony's fix. Tony better get ready for an interrogation then because he is Billy Miner. And him and Kyle Reamer know each other well. And they've sat down and talked politics in secret. And I'm not ratting anybody out because this is me, an organized crime gentleman. And I'm not even an organized criminal yet. Some of you don't like it. Some of you hate me so much. And some people in Kamloops, I can just feel the relief. Because somebody's like a totalitarianistic, militaristic tyrant, and that's Tony. And he's got daughters that he hangs out with too, and he lives with them. I heard that. And what do you need your daughters to cook your meals? Isn't that nice? He's never had to cook a meal in his fucking life. Much like that. He's the one that says I'm not allowed to have girlfriends. That helps out with the chores. I had a wife. She was told by everyone she got to this country that I'm not Cody Hayden. And she's in my passport. So, and it's real. And my genetics are on file. So, thank Christ for mom. Because I've been to a little argument. She wasn't even that hurt. And whatever happened after, that's between her and somebody else. And that's secret between a woman that had an affair once and she didn't want to tell anyone. And she wanted to see me in Vancouver and she got her bail back. And, well, it's no big deal now. Because Pat Haynes better keep his fucking mind to himself. Pat Haynes wants to be a stand-up guy and do something about people wanting to kill me. You don't have to go after any nomads. Why don't you just go after some of your own guys that are too powerful, too rich? Or they'll go after you. You guys don't get it. You're being hinted towards something. Because if you don't do it, the government's gonna. And it was gonna happen anyways. So, this year, computer. Doesn't matter where it comes from? Not really. I'm Cody. I'm Lord Co. But I'm not Lord Co. because in the family too. Or Lord Co. Like Lord Company. That's a bright name. I like Lord Co. I know Craig Penner personally. And he'll be more than happy for 50 cents on the North Shore. And it's better than nothing. And it's out of respect. And he's Mr. Falsetta, the cobbler. He doesn't ask for anything like that. I had to sit down with him and I would listen intently. It's not the same sit down Guy had with him once, I bet. And they went away from being, they forget these guys are still around. They want me to sit down with them? And I don't negotiate, and I could do it on camera, and people could watch. I'm actually a skilled negotiator. And they remember how he used to negotiate, but he's a little older now. He doesn't feel like doing that anymore. And that's South Shore, it would be Vito, and they remember how he negotiates. He hasn't done that in a long time. He hasn't needed to with a certain man, and from a certain. There's only one JR in the underworld, and that's Jamie Russell. And we shook hands once. And hey, I'm good. I had to fight for my right to party. And Marky shook my hand. He didn't shake JR Ira's hand. Nope. They're both part of the con. And I liked Ira for his first name, and he was a con artist. But we got along. But when the money stopped going in, he turned on me like that. He's cut. No umbilical cord. He doesn't have my back. And no, he did just now. See how he likes it. He's still in court. Is he in court because he's trying to fight for something, like a lie? Because her family had police in it too. And when you want to try and do something secretly, you told me that you might do it. I know how you operate. See, I gave these guys a blueprint, and they all ripped me off. They turned coat on me for money. That's what they did. So, well, greed. One of the deadly sins, and I'm not that greedy. Never was. I don't know. Can I run the touch speed? And I can't hold it. Chris, you can't do anything. Chris, you don't get it, man. They're tricking you. They're tricking you, Chris. They're not going to do anything to you. Nobody's going to kill you, Chris. Nobody can because they're Ron. Okay? Ron says to do it. No, he says that he's smarter than that. Because Ron isn't going to do anything because that's when Mr. Gregoire gets involved, Chris's father. And nobody wants me dead. And he don't. He's never met his, he met his son. He knows I'm Cody Hayden. We all know that. Chris, you're probably not going to do any time. Just know how to shut your mouth if you get interrogated. That's it. You don't have to do anything more than that, Chris. You're being tricked. That's all you're being. You're being tricked because they're manipulating you. You have a head injury. I know you do, okay? You have a head injury. You were living off disability for a while. You're a secret player and, like an organized crime. The Nomads are secretive in BC, but they're supposed to kill off Hells Angels. That's what they're designed to do. You got to get into the books and read some shit. Read some stuff about the Hells Angels, okay? They don't want you to because they're tricking you. You're not getting in with me. I'm just trying to save you from your own head injury here. You don't need to kill me. Nobody needs to, okay? Pat Haynes is tricked Auntie Kim. He has her tricked or she has him tricked. Shh. Because I'm not here. That's a green screen. Green screen, like in the news, they have a green screen up. Because I took a picture. It's like that one movie. And that's what it is. I'm going to end the stream for a second.